DJ Infinici bringing you a video on how to hook up your your pod farm 2 to Ableton Live. That way, see, most of us, we like to do electronic music, and some of us are like hands-on with music. Like, you can plug a piano in, it'll automatically sync. You can plug an MPD 218 in, Akia, the drum pad, it'll automatically, sense it. Cause that's pretty much how it got Ableton Live, was from my Akia, and also the piano, but I gave that to somebody that I know. So basically, you want to be able to go to your plugins and be able to take your line 6 pod farm. You can't put it in any open audios, so you see it's up there now, and that way, most people are like me. When you get down to making music, you don't have to do all the mathematician and all the tweaks and turn knobs and adjustments and all that stuff. It'll automatically be there for you to be able to pull it up and get to record, and once you get it fixed. So this is what I'm trying to get you guys into doing. So you can't just click on it, you gotta go here to pod 2, and that way it pulls up. Because when you have like a UX2 pod farm, you have every pedal. Let me see if I can pull it up again. You have pretty much every pedal in different sounds and stuff that you can work with, and that's including with other instruments. Like, say for instance, you had an electronic violin and you wanted to add some sound to it, a couple pedals and whatnot. Well, this is the best way to do it. So you can see right now I have it all pulled up, and here's my guitar. Limited edition mahogany fret BC Rich. It was once my old bud. He traded for a tattoo, and I know the guy who did the tattoo. I asked him to borrow it, and the next thing you know, it's like, you can keep it. I was like, wow. But for the most part, here, let me turn this down. All my pedals, and everything is all up here, from chorus to some fun things to play with, like synth string, synth lead, synth harmony. And these are just the filters. They got so much stuff up here. Two sub octaves. Here, let me cancel out some of these. You got your from guitar amps to bass amps, preamps, cabs, distortion, dynamics, filters, mods, delays, reverb, wah, and EQ. So normally when you buy a UX2 pod farm or any kind of pod farm, you do all the installations. You gotta have line 6 license and line 6 monkey, and everything has to be authorized for you to use it in the first place. So I had to go ahead and buy mine's brand new. I could find things used with no problem, but I figured it would be best to have anything of music nature brand new unless it's instruments. So mainly what you really need to do when you want to put your pod farm up here, it would be considered a plugin. So you go to options, you go to preference, then you go down to your plugins. You have the VST2 custom folder, and then you have the VST3. So I have mine's in the VS2. So what I'm gonna do is I'm turn that off. Turn that off. Turn those all off. See if I turn it back on, would it pop back up or? Yeah, it popped back up. So basically, well, I'd have to reinstall and everything for me to do it like hands-on. But for the most part, you want to go to your preference. You go to your plugins. You go to your browse. In either the VST2 or VS3, mainly you want to aim for your 3, and this is specifically for pod farm musicians with Ableton Live 11 and anything modern of Ableton. So you want to go to your, you have to find the folder. So you want to go to your local, you want to go to program 86, and then it should be under line 6. Then you click on pod farm 2 folder. You click on it, boom, it should pop up in your plugins down here. And then once it's up there, you can do stuff like, you know, jam out. And here, let me put up another one, since I ended up turning it off and turning it back on. The computer's acting a little bit up, in the middle of downloading. But anyways, that's a short, brief notice, because like I literally searched video high and video low on how to get this fixed. Also, for other people who are trying to do the plugins, now a lot of people do buy their plugins from like the website, the official website, or like some, you know, like Producer Source or something like that. You might catch a sale, you might catch a deal. Well, Producer Source, they made it to where, you know, that's the only producer website that I know of. When you buy something, you don't have like, you know, 8 downloads and that's it, with whatever you probably spent like 400 or 200 or 10 to 30 or 30 to another 100, however it goes. Most of the plugins, like say for instance StarCraft or like Furnace or like Gold Bars and all that other stuff, you have to download them. I'm still struggling on how to get those ones up. I bought a shit ton or a crap ton of plugins and I'm struggling to use those because I download them, but then the samples that come with the plugins normally should be like embedded within the plugin, but for some reason it's not. There was a couple times I went on my computer, downloaded everything. It took probably about 3 days to download and de-extract, and I was finding folders with the sounds of those you know, like Octave and all that in a whole nother area. So I took the folder and put it within the plugin, it still didn't work. So I went to Ableton Live, clicked on the folder, or clicked on the plugin that it's seeing, but I wasn't able to play any sound out of it because the preset sounds that come with it weren't registered. So it'll ask you to either find the sample folders. So I went and clicked on the folder, and then I was able to use like 1 or 2 of them out of 10 of them that I have to reestablish. So that might give you some pointers with most of your plugins with Ableton Live. I also have Fruity Loops, but you know, Fruity Loops is college grade, like full on, hands on, all hands on deck, music making, producing to almost everything with music in Fruity Loops. Now I did buy the original form, but you know, since Ableton Live is more of a, I want to say it's more like a faster way of producing, faster and more simplicated. So say for instance, you know, I could be one of those producers who've been using Fruity Loops for about 5 years, and the funny thing about Fruity Loops, you could be 5 years in, but still there's a lot to learn. Like there's plugins that you can buy and put on Fruity Loops. Not only that, the ones that already come with it, those are an extra $250. So you'd be pushing at like 400 or like 700, and you'd be so far into it, and then you're just like, I have all these things and I don't really know how to use most of them, but you know, I know how to make music the way I like it so far. But once you start realizing those plugins, everything becomes like, you know, gotta have it, gotta need it, you know, different sample packs, loop packs, etc., etc. But for the most part, the one issue that I had was doing the whole plugin thing with Pod Farm. So like I said, most of you don't know how to access it, and I'm making this video for the majority of you. And you know, it has about 4 channels, 4 or 5 channels. I can even plug a studio mic inside of my Line 6 and add effects and stuff to it if I wanted to. So it's pretty decent. It's actually pretty cool, and I'm glad I remind myself about the whole mic thing, because I'm struggling to get music, like direct microphone recording, to Ableton Live. Like I would have to switch my whole sound card and everything just to get it to record. So that also fills in for, you know, when you have, say for instance, a microphone with the same, you know, amplifier, plug up the channel cord, you'll be able to plug up to your pod, and your pod, from your pod, you'll be able to, you know, do whatever you want to do there with the music. And see, with Pod Farm you can add in different effects. So it's pretty simple, and once you know, get everything together, I don't want to see you struggling for a year or 3 months trying to get it all together. So just repeat, you know, here the VST2, go to your local files. So you want to go to your preference, which would be under your options. It would be the last one at the bottom. Then you click on plugins, you go to browse, then you go to your local, then you hit program 80 or program files 86, and you look down for line 6. It should say Pod Farm 2. You click there, it say VTS and all that other stuff when you click on there. But just to save yourself from trying to get even more frustrated and confused, just click Pod Farm 2 and click the open button, and it should blink. And once it does that, you want to go to your plugins, which is under your categories to the left, Ableton Live 11. And mine's is in the VST2, so it would be the one before 3. And here you are. So just take the first one from the top. You don't have to do all the other ones. Take the first one from the top, drag it to the bottom, like inputting a sample but not in the audio channel, and you should be good to go. Well, make sure, and if you don't hear sound, this is like the best way to do it. If you don't hear sound, hit the record button, you know, when you use a drum pad and stuff, just like it. So you want to hit the record button and it should pop up. And that's how you use Ableton Live and Pod Farm 2. And I hope you guys get the hang of this and should link up. Check out my music on SoundCloud, DJ Infinici / Infinite Worldwide Productions. I also have a fan page on Facebook, but you know, I started last June. I got about 130 songs. They're not all finessed or anything. It was a lot more producing the songs, and then I'm gonna be mixing everything up here soon. But I have a lot of videos that I need to put up on YouTube, and you know, all the good programming stuff. So, you know, and when you do music, there's also programming within it too, because the plugins, they're not so simplicated. It's not like you can go to Best Buy, buy the box, plug it in, and then it's there. Now it's like you download it, and if you don't download it right, and then you gotta do all this, finding all that, and then all the extra space on your computer. That became less of extra space because now you have to search for all these things. You don't want to have to go through all that. Trust me, it's frustrating. I've built my own computer. I've built many computers, and I've helped build budget computers. So, you know, that's frustrating enough when you don't have all the right specs and everything. You buy everything and it's not all the right specs, and you gotta turn around and buy everything. So it's just best to not go through that situation. So I made this video for you guys to be able to easily get to Pod Farm 2, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and keep up the good work. Peace out.